Okay, friends, so today we are going to jump into some more area and perimeter work. But before we do that, I want you to grab your math journal right now because we're going to take a quick page of notes so that you always have a page of notes on area and perimeter. And to do this, you're going to want to grab some coloring utensils so that you can color in your area, and you're going to want a highlighter or a marker so that you can outline your perimeter. Let's get started. Okay, so I have a piece of graph paper here. I don't have my math journal just because it's a little bit lighter and harder to see, but you are going to do this in your math journal. So at the top, we're just going to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to highlight it I'm going to draw my perimeter, right? And I'm going to draw it in my highlighter. You can do this in pencil first, which is probably what I should do, and then I'll go over it with my highlighter. So your rectangle can be any size you want. I don't care. Mine's going to be definitely a rectangle, not a square, but close to a square. Right. And now I'm going to color in my area. And I always like to make my area and my highlighter different colors so that they really stand out. So I'm going to color in my area of my rectangle. And I'm not going to color it too dark because I still might want to be able to see my squares in case that's helpful for counting. And then I'm going to highlight my perimeter so that it stands out even more. Now, this is just a quick review. The area, because we color in all the space, the area is the space inside our rectangle. And remember, area we count in square units. I don't just count one length and say I found the area. I need to count all the squares inside. And I don't want to count them one by one. That's going to take too long. So I'm going to find a more efficient way to do that. So I'm going to see how long this side length is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm just going to say it's 10 units because I don't really know the measurement of these. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8 units. Now, if I want to determine the area, I could either count by 8s or I could count by 10s. And I'm going to count by 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So I'm going to say that my area, and I actually like to write my area inside. Let me say that my area is 80 square units. And then, I guess I can do this darker, huh? And then I want to determine my perimeter because as we talked about last week, every single shape, no matter what it is, has both an area and it also has a perimeter. And we can think of the perimeter as the walls of a room. We could think of the perimeter as a fence around a garden. We could think of it as like the walls around a roller skate rink. But the perimeter is what keeps the shape holding its shape, right? It's what keeps the shape together. And the perimeter is only measuring the distance around. I'm not measuring any space inside. So I'm not counting in squares, I'm just counting a length. And so the perimeter is my total distance around my shape. So my perimeter is 10 units plus 8 units plus 10 more units and then 8 more units. And that would get me all the way around my shape. So I'm going to say my perimeter is 10 plus 10 plus 8 plus 8 units. And that will be 20 plus 16. I'm going to do some mental math. I see 20 and 10 makes 30 plus 6 more. So my perimeter equals 36 units. And again, I wasn't counting all the squares inside. I was only counting along the edges of the square. So I was only counting a length. So for this rectangle, it has an area of 80 square units inside the rectangle, And it has a perimeter of 36 units going around the shape. Okay, so right now I'd like you to pause the video and I would like you to get a rectangle in your journal, and let's title the top of this Area and Perimeter Notes. So pause this video if you haven't already, and you are going to put your own rectangle. It can look exactly the same as mine. It can be a 10 by 8, and you're going to show what the area is on the inside, and then you're going to show what the perimeter is on the outside. And you can even highlight the P in green to match your picture so that you really know. All right, now at the bottom of your page, or on the next page if you don't have room, it doesn't have to take up the whole paper. I just made this big so that you could really see it. We are going to write this in our math journal. And so you're going to want to pause the video so that you can write all of this down. But this is a Venn diagram. And a Venn diagram is a tool that we use to compare two things. So on this side of my Venn diagram, I have the area. And on this side of my Venn diagram, I'm talking about perimeter, and where they overlap right here, I'm talking about both area and perimeter of a shape. So the area, this is just a quick way for us to see what is similar about them and what is different. The area is the space inside a shape. We measure it in square units, and we only need one length and one width to determine the area. Right? I didn't need all my side lengths. I only needed to know the length or the width so that I knew what I wanted to count by. The perimeter is not the space inside. It is the total distance around a shape. It's our outline. Our perimeter is measured, it can be measured in inches, feet, yards, or centimeters, but no matter what, we are always measuring a length. We are not measuring squares. And the perimeter, we have to know all the side lengths, right? I can't just have 2 and say I'm done. I have to know all of my side lengths around my shape and add them together. In fact, I'm going to add that in here. If you have not already paused the video, I'd like you to pause. I'd like you to put this in your math journal with the notes that we just took on graph paper, and then you are ready to jump into your area and perimeter artwork.